I just got the phone call for the day 5 assessment, and Chris is on his way home right now. We had 11 fertilized on day 1. 7 were looking good on day 3. And today we're down to 1. So I guess we'll just see. I'm gonna wait till he gets home. Like every time I get on here, I'm crying. I don't know, I'm just like kind of lost for words right now. So I'll try to get back on later with Chris. So yeah, here we go. Hi guys, we just got, or I just got the phone call from our day 5 fertilization report, and I wanted Chris to be on this video just because then we can kind of hopefully both express what we're thinking and what we're feeling. I got it about an hour ago. Chris had already left to work, and throughout the phone call I had texted him and told him he needed to come home, just because of the information that I was receiving. So to give you a little bit of update of what a fertilization report is, it's basically where out of the eggs that they've taken for the IVF, they will fertilize them with, you know, the semen, and then they'll be able to determine over the next couple of days of which ones will last and which ones will be chromosomally okay. And so our day 1 report, we had 11 eggs that had fertilized and 14 that were mature enough to be fertilized out of the 17 eggs that they retrieved. Our day 3 report, all 11 were still fertilized, but 7 were looking good. And they said on day 3 that like 25 to 50%, I wasn't 100% sure if she meant out of the 7 or out of the 11, should survive. And we're doing PGS testing. We weren't originally going to do PGS testing because it's a fresh we were going to do a fresh transfer, which was supposed to be today, and because of finding out about my uterus and the polyps and all of that, we're not doing the fresh transfer anymore, and we have to wait. So we decided to do the PGS testing, which is basically, it gives you a higher percentage, I think, of having a successful pregnancy is what we've been told. Also, they do genetic, gender testing to see, you know, what it is. And so out of the 7 that we were told on Monday, 2 days ago, they're sending 1 to biopsy, which means they're going to send 1 to the PGS testing. And my initial thought process at the time was rough, because I was hoping to have at least, like, I told Chris, like, low number 3, and like, you know, anywhere from like, I was hoping like 3 to 4, 3 to 5, because we really wanted to transfer 2 embryos to kind of get jump started on our family and hopefully have twins. So there's one that they said could last because tomorrow's the final day of what they'll really know, but there's one for sure they're sending to biopsy. And then there's one that she doesn't think it's gonna, you know, she doesn't think anything will become of it, but if it does, it's a miracle and we'll take it. And so hopefully 2, but for sure 1 was our outcome. We know a lot of people don't have success in IVF, and so I'm grateful that we have the 1 embryo, but with my left fallopian tube already missing from the ectopic pregnancy and kind of all the other things that we found out recently, like it was just kind of hard to take that initial like I kind of was hoping that in worst case scenario, like if this didn't work out as far as the first embryo transfer, that we would have other ones that we could, so I didn't have to do the IVF process again. Partially because of cost, and like we've spent, I think I did the spreadsheet yesterday, we spent almost, without the biopsy testing, $16,000 already put towards this, which once we do the biopsy testing and some of the other stuff later on, I mean, it's going to be closer to $18,000 or $19,000. So it's just hard because we've put a lot of faith in this, and we thought that, like, through our religion, we've really put our trust in the Lord, and we felt comforted during a lot of this. And so it's just hard when you think things are going to go a certain way and they don't end up going that way. And I guess that's really what life is that it's not always going to go the way that you think it is, but that's what I struggle with the most. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit because I don't want to talk anymore. Your thoughts and your feelings.
Well, it's been an interesting journey so far. Obviously, you know, it's not the news that we were hoping for, but we still feel, you know, thankful that we had one being able to survive and stuff like that. So it's a huge thing for us, and just trying to stay focused on that and, you know, continue on doing what we need to do on our part and try to stay strong and, you know, overcome whatever is thrown our way. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's out of our control, which my wife hates.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing really we can do or say. There's not like a dollar amount that we can put out there to make sure this one survives, or because we'd do whatever it takes to, you know, help this one along the way to receive whatever we need to receive. But it's out of our control. Definitely a testament to blind faith. It's hard, but, you know, that's life. So
yeah, we just like a lot of our conversation prior to this was Chris. So Chris does a really good job about being kind of the strong person. And he does a good job about trying to, like, as you can see, he holds a lot of his emotions in, which is hard because I can be very emotional at times and very vulnerable. And so I know he's carrying a lot of this inside throughout the process, which I'm sure that's most men. Like, they just, you know, women are more
in tune with their feelings.
Yeah. Well, no, I wouldn't say like in tune with their feelings. They're more open about their feelings. They want other people to like rally with them and sit there and say, like, I don't know, like they're just, it's not like an attention seeking thing. I think we just feel comforted when we let other people know what we're going through, where men have a tendency to be more like, I'm strong, I'm not going to let anybody know.
Introverts. Yeah,
like this is what I'm experiencing or going through. And it's hard for him too, because I just say what's on my mind, I think, and I think he doesn't express completely what he's feeling, because I even asked him, like, what are you thinking, you know? And he thought when he got the phone call that we had none that survived. And because I wanted to tell him in person, I didn't want to tell him over the phone because he was on his way up to work, and I just was like, I don't want to tell you over the phone. And so it's hard too, because along the lines with this, like we as I mentioned in prior videos, like I struggle with PTSD, anxiety, and depression, and things like this can send me through a whirlwind. And so it's hard for my husband probably when he gets those kinds of calls and he gets those kinds of things of me like, you need to come home, because he never knows what he's gonna come home to. Like, I haven't done anything, like I haven't,
no,
yeah, I've never like,
it's more of a mental support, emotional
yeah,
support.
you know. And so like today was definitely one of those days where it's like, I just need you to be here with me so that like my mind doesn't overanalyze or overthink things, because it does. Like all my thought process went from, okay, we only have one embryo, what happens if the one embryo doesn't work out? What is our next plan of action? Like, am I just not supposed to have kids? Like I go through all these doubts at the beginning. And that's kind of how I work my way out of things, is I doubt and I make the worst of the situation, and then I try to turn it into a positive note. So even from like an hour ago, I'm turning it into a more positive note, where it's like, okay, we have one, like, here's our next step. Whereas when that happened, it was like the end of the world kind of situation. And that's kind of how my mental health plays into this, is it kind of just like makes me think the worst and it's not going to become better. But then like luckily I try to like have a good support system where I try to rally back from it. And so with this particular one, it was hard because I feel like our mission in our church and our thought process in this church is to focus on having kids, and we're told we'll have joy in our posterity, and we're told that you know, that's kind of our life mission in this life, is to work on having kids and to bring as many kids as we can so that they can. And I think in a world where people take advantage of that, like with the abortion issues that are going on and the late-term abortions and all this crazy stuff that we're hearing in the world, like, it's kind of hard knowing that something that is such a righteous desire and something that like we struggle with, like, if you're thinking about aborting your kid, or if you're thinking about doing that, like, I will gladly take that child and try our best to give it the best life it can, because that is like a precious life. Like, I don't know, like I just think of all these recent events, which a lot of you are familiar with, and I'm not trying to get political on this, but I just can't, like, I'm just taken by it. I'm taken by how can you do that to these little heartbeats, like these little precious beings, especially when there's so many of the people in the world like ourselves that struggle with having children or struggle with infertility. Like, that's such a precious gift from God that you've been given to bear children. And like, you could sit there and say pro-women or pro-choice or whatever, but like, you're part of you being a woman is having the ability to have children, and don't take advantage of that. So I don't know, that's like my side tangent right now, because all these emotions I go through. I just think that it's important to know that, like, what we try to hold on to is that we are going to continue to have faith. Like, we kind of talked about how we had initial plans to hopefully have that 3 to 5 embryos so that we could do future transfers down the road after hopefully one is successful. And so now we're just going to keep taking it however way it comes, I guess, and go from there. But thank you guys for your support. Thanks for your phone calls and your comments. And like I've said before, this really isn't anything in regards to like, look at us, or like, I mean, I feel like this is pretty, don't you feel like we're being pretty open about this? Like, we're really letting people into our lives. Like, that's not, like, Chris and I are very private people.
Isolated. We're
very isolated people. Like, people get frustrated with us because we
stick to ourselves.
Exactly. Like, there's
no offense.
Nothing against you guys, but like, we love hanging out with each other, and we know how each other will react to things, and so we just, that's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be married and love each other. Like, we're not the kind of husband and wife that want to be away from each other, right? Some days he wants to be away from me, like, these days. No, but we really do. Like, we enjoy working together. We enjoy traveling together. Like, I love spending every moment with my husband, and I feel like it's a mutual thing. And so we're not really types of people that are very social or very out of our, like we can be social, but we're not like, hey, look at us world, or like, that's just not how it is. So we wanted to let you into what we were going through, not for like, what am I looking for? Notoriety? No, like, what's the word? Not to like be like, oh, look at what we're going through. Like, nothing like that. It's more so like, we've met so many people that have gone through similar struggle, but they're quiet about it because they're scared of how people will react. They're scared of how people will, what they'll think of them, especially in the Polynesian culture. And I think it's important for people to know that it's okay. Like, it's okay to have this struggle in life. It's hard. It sucks. This is a trial that you're given at this moment, but you can work through it. There are other people that are going through it. Like, every time I hear from someone else that's gone through it or experiencing it, it really gives me that reassurance. And then they have success. It gives me that reassurance of like, okay, we can do this. We can make it through this, or it's all going to work out. So we appreciate that. And we hope that, those of you that are going through this struggle yourselves, like, we're sorry. It's tough, and we feel your pain, and we pray for you too, and we wish you the best on your journeys of whether it's IVF, IUIs, whatever you're going through infertility wise. We hope you get that success too. So, do you have any final thoughts?
Just to echo, you know, we appreciate the outreach. I know my wife's received a lot of messages, so thankful for, you know, other people reaching out to her and understand what she's going through better than I can. So it's really appreciated.
We're going through.
No, I get that, like, physically and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate it, because I obviously don't know what she physically is going through and stuff like that, and emotionally with the whole roller coaster and stuff. Yeah, I deal with my end, but there's a whole nother side to it. So, you know, just, we feel blessed with the outreach and all the love and support we've received since starting the journey. So, you know, thank you, and
that's
we'll have more.
Yeah. I don't cry this much, you guys.
Not really.
Like, I don't know if that's hormones or, I mean, I can cry, like I just get enraged, and so I let my anger out through crying, but
I think it's also the subject and stuff like that.
yeah,
like
I think because this is
like
so, like, I feel like I'm a pretty strong
this is a touchy-feely
person,
subject, though,
but this, I've been so vulnerable as far as like crying, so I really don't, I'm not a big crybaby.
But it's good for her to
Am I a
open up.
crybaby?
It's good for her to open up.
You still didn't answer the question. Am I a crybaby?
No.
Well, thanks again, and we'll see you guys next time, hopefully with good news. Maybe 2 survived. That's what I'm hoping for. And there we go. Till next time.